Well, here we go. Good morning, everybody. I'm practicing with my camera, okay. I'm not too comfortable in front of the camera. Never have been, but I am determined to break through that wall of discomfort and put myself into Bealtaine Cottage properly. He's listening and saying, yes, Mum, you go for it. So, this morning I'm going to take you down the driveway because I was working very hard yesterday. And I want to show you what I've done. Okay. Ah, that's better. I'm on the other side of the camera. Now, I feel I can be myself a little bit more. Look, I'm going to get used to all this. I know I am, because I'm a very determined woman at all times. And I want to sort of expand my video making in a way as well. Because I do enjoy taking you to places and like, look at this. Look at this. This, you probably aren't going to believe this. These are the leaves of the lunaria. Because you know that lunaria is a biennial plant. So it comes up in this beautiful vegetation one year, and the following year then it blooms. Well, you see, I put compost into this little pot. You see where the little tree is, that I've been practising topiary on. And look what it's done to the lunaria. It's turned it into a semi-tropical plant. Talking of semi-tropical, look at this. Oh, I've got a whole autumn and winter and early spring of cutting back and clearing up and tidying up and giving it all a bit more shape to look forward to. But without further ado, I'm going to take you down the driveway. Once again, I am my own worst enemy because when I start on a task, I am like the proverbial bull in a china shop. I just don't know when to stop, and I keep going and I keep going. And I kept going through the rain yesterday and I got soaked, but I was sensible because when I did eventually make it up to the cottage, I changed very quickly into some dry, warm, which are warm by the stove, cotton clothes, cotton t-shirts and stuff, and then my cotton dressing gown, and I lit the stove in the studio, because that heats up very, very quickly. The whole studio does, because it's quite small. And I lay down on the sofa in there and I fell asleep. Now, I don't know what time I fell asleep at, because I don't know what time I come up from the garden at. But I woke up at 8:30. So there you go. So at least my body knows what to do. It knows how to regulate itself, even though my mind doesn't know how to regulate anything. So, okay, let's start here. So in order just to kind of, break that kind of straight line approach of working my way up the driveway, I started here. I just started here. And hello to you too. And I started cutting back on the rubus and the box, although I'm going to cut that back a bit further. And you can see where I started there, look. And I worked my way down. Down, down, down. Till I got to here. And then I kind of started off thinking, no, I'll just trim back a bit. But then I thought, well, the forsythia has been growing there for well over 10 years, if not more. And I thought, I'll just give the whole thing a really good cut back, because that will regenerate those shrubs and make them stronger. And look at this. So I've got this entire new area opened up. And this morning when I come down here, when it wasn't raining for all of 10 minutes, I came down here with my coffee, and it was lovely to stand here and see the light. Sorry, I'm breaking off there. No, I wasn't seeing the light in terms of anything biblical. It was the way the light came through the trees. It was wonderful. So I'm going to have to break off at this point and come back to this later, because the lens is just going to get covered in droplets of water. Okay, view from the shed. Come on, Jack, you can come in. He says, I'm not going to stand out there getting wet as well. Well, as you can see, there's been a mighty amount of rain has fallen. And it's strange, really, because I was talking with a friend of mine on the phone earlier on this morning, well, about an hour ago, actually. And I said, God, hasn't the rain been terrible? Now, she lives only about 3 miles away. She said, what are you talking about? It's been a gorgeous morning here. I thought, okay. I'm probably in a bit of a parallel universe. But the rain has been lovely. I am a bit of a pluviophile, you know, because I suppose it's what I'm used to, in that I was born and raised up in Oma, which is in the Sperrin Mountains, and it was always very wet up there, particularly so. So I do love the rain. Look, he just can't resist the car thing, can he? I'll have to move these cordylines now from these 2 pots and plant them in the garden somewhere. In the woodland, maybe just on the edges of the woodland somewhere. It's my beautiful goddess there, and her guardian owls. Now if it just eases off for a moment, can you see the blue sky up there? If it just eases off for a moment, I'll whiz back down the driveway. You know, you get a very good idea of the slope here, you know, going down the driveway. If I hold the camera right up like that, I don't know if that gives you a better impression. Now I'm thinking to myself that the rain has stopped. Okay, let's take advantage of this and go back down the driveway. See what I mean about not giving up? Jack's been a bit hesitant. Oh no, he's off now. I've got to say that my walking regime, and I say regime because it's turned into a real habit now, my walking lifestyle habit, regime, is really suiting me. It makes me feel very uplifted, and you know, of course, that any form of exercise releases endorphins, all those lovely feel-good hormones. Well, I can only advise that if you can possibly get out, you know, for even if it's just a little dander, as my grandmother used to go on. I don't think I ever saw that woman break into a gallop, ever. She would walk like this, and she'd sing a wee tune, and she'd go, and occasionally she'd break into a rebel song. Oh, makes me laugh when I remember her. I think I must have inherited her mother's genes, which was my great-grandma, Mary Ann Higgins Baxter, because she was a mighty woman. She was a woman on a mission who took no prisoners at all. I mean, you know, physically, mentally, she was a Boudica of her time. Now, here we go. Just as I've got down here, the rain started up again. Oh well, never mind. I think I read a comment yesterday, someone said, oh, you should just record the sounds of the stream. Do you know, that's an idea. I could actually just leave the camera down here, couldn't I? On a tripod. I'd have to make sure it wasn't raining first. And just leave it here and maybe record a 15 or 20 minute video just of the sight and the sounds. So yes, it is a good idea. I'll be pondering on that one. So this is now turned into a little kind of a waterfall here. Because when I first dug all this out, you know, after I had released the aquifer and created that spring well, this was an island. I dug this out as an island, and I planted Photinia on it and Hades, as you can see. And then, of course, one thing took over another, and it sort of became inaccessible. So I've been trying just to block off this access to the water here, and I'll do a bit more on that. I'll kind of dig in some earth along there. So the water is just all channeled down this way now completely, rather than down and around, which it was doing. That looks pretty clear. Come on, Jack. So we'll just walk back up the driveway now, and I'll let you see how it looks as I walk. Trying to hold the camera steady, of course. So tomorrow, which is Monday, is the bank holiday here in Ireland. Well, it's a public holiday. So that's going to give me another chance to get out here and do some more work. Because it's a bit like a Sunday. And I don't know if I'll get much work done today because of the rain. So I've got to work from here, from this point, up along, right up past the buddleia, which is hanging out up there. Of course, any kind of industrialised machine, whether it's a chainsaw or, you know, electric or, you know, power-driven hedge cutters, just really wouldn't work here, because you have to work slowly and you have to work methodically, and every so often you have to stand back and look and assess what you've done and what further needs to be done. So I was doing that this morning with my coffee. I was walking down thinking, well, there's this beautiful buddleia here, and I don't want to take that back. I did a little bit of trimming on it yesterday just to lift it a little bit, and you can see it is rather old, but look how wonderful it is, you know. Age makes no difference to it. So yeah, I'll be working on that, but not too much. I want to leave most of it there. So this is where I'll be working up to, or starting from. And then, once that's done, I'm going to take back some of this bamboo. A lot of it has died anyway, because of course when you have trees and you have bamboo, the bamboo eventually gives up the ghost and becomes just a very, very small version of itself. So I'm going to be taking out all the dead bamboo. Now that's quite an onerous task, because you have to keep sort of bending over, you know, and you can only really do it with your secateurs. So it's stem by stem. But again, it's a meditative task. And then once that's taken down a bit and half of it's been taken out, be able to see this beautiful birch tree. So it is about revealing the trees as much as opening up the driveway. And then just in here beside this birch, quite tiny at the moment, because they are much more slow growing, that's a little Scots pine. So I want to take some of this bush down here, clear back some of this just to reveal that. And then of course further in, which is so beautiful, is the lovely cherry tree, which I brought here in a coffee cup from London. So, and yes, there's the Gunera manicata. It's not invasive. It's been there for 16 years. It hasn't invaded anywhere, because it can't invade anywhere. It's hemmed in. You see? This is why I get cross with people who say, oh, that's a terribly invasive plant. No, there's only lazy people. Or people with so much land that they don't look after. And what we should have learned by now is that Mother Earth needs us to look after her. She doesn't need us to be planting monoculture and destroying her and, you know, putting down pesticides and killing her. She needs us to look after her, and everything should be in balance. And again, I come back to the plant like your life depends upon it, for it does, because you should aim to plant as much diversity as is possible. And I don't exclude any plant, because Mother Earth is one incredible sentient being. We are the ones who divide up the earth. She doesn't. Now, there's a wee bit of smoke coming out of the chimney because I lit the stove. So the kettle just might be boiling in there. So there's a good chance I'll be having a cup of tea. So blessings to you all. It's turning into a fine day. Look at that blue sky. Oh, there you are. Doing your little otter impression. Blessings to you all, my friends.